Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series. Good evening, one and all. Welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing, also commemorating Viksit Bharat in 2047. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating World Hippopotamus Day or World Hippo Day. It is celebrated on February 15th. It is celebrated on 15th February every year and celebrates the extraordinary hippopotamus and encourages people to take action to prevent its extinction. Before 1909, scientists placed hippos in the same group as pigs, despite their outward similarities with pigs or wild boars. Hippopotamus are closely related to whales, dolphins, and porpoises. Hippos are semi-aquatic animals that are native to sub-Saharan Africa. They are herbivores, can weigh up to 2,000 kgs, making them the third largest land mammal after elephants and rhinos. Hippos are primarily found in rivers, lakes, and mangrove swamps. Hippos are thought to have originated from a group of semi-aquatic mammals called Hippomorpha. The group later split into two branches around 54 million years ago. The first branch, which includes whales and dolphins, evolved to become complete aquatic cetaceans. The second branch became Anthropotheres, a close ancestor of common hippo. So during the Pliocene epoch over 2 million years ago, all branches of the Anthropotheres went extinct except those that evolved into hippopotami. This group of hippo ancestors migrated to Africa around 35 million years ago and dominated the continent as one of the earliest large mammals between 16th and 8th million years ago. The oldest known hippopotamus, Kenyapotamus, thrived in the African continent, but the group that later evolved into modern hippo was Archaeopteryx, which lived between 7.5 and 1.8 million years ago in Africa and the Middle East. There were ancestors of the hippo in Europe and the British Isles before the last glaciation, including the European hippopotamus, Hippopotamus antiquus, Hippopotamus major, and Hippopotamus gorgops. But these species of hippos went extinct, and the exact reason is still unknown. Although scientists hypothesize it might be because of man. Ancestors of European hippos migrated to many Mediterranean islands during the Pleistocene, evolved and later became extinct. These species of hippos include Cyprus dwarf hippopotamus, Hippopotamus petlandi, Hippopotamus mellitinus, and Hippopotamus redsburgi between 50,000 and 60,000 years ago. All hippos in the supercontinent Eurasia went extinct. In North America, there were Anthracotherid genera in the early Oligocene over 23 million years ago, but no evidence of hippos has ever been found on the continent. Many attempts have been made to introduce the species into the US, but they never have been successful. That was until Pablo Escobar illegally imported 4 hippos to Colombia in the late 1980s. This population of hippos has grown since to about 100. The evolution of the hippo, the ancestor of the hippo splits into 2 branches, with one branch evolving to become hippopotami. The US Senate nearly passes a bill to import the hippo to control water hyacinth and help solve the American meat crisis. Pablo Escobar imports 4 hippos from New Orleans to his estate in Hacienda Naples, Medellin, Colombo in 1980s. Hippos are a vulnerable species. The International Union for Conservation of Nature lists the hippo as vulnerable species on the red list in 2006. So hippos spend 16 hours out of 24 hours in a day submerged in water to keep their vast bodies cool, hence the name hippopotamus, meaning river horse in Greek. At night, the hippo leaves the water to feed on grasses. Hippos are vital to Africa's rivers and lakes. The solid waste provides the ecosystem with a vast amount of nutrients and helps certain fish species to thrive. While the hippo's skin is about 2 inches thick, a bullet can still pierce their skin if shot at torso. However, you can say that they are almost bullet resistant. There are several places where you can see a hippo. You can go to a zoo near and check out the hippo exhibit. You can also travel to any one of the African safaris. Many tour companies are available that speculate in safari tourism. They allow you to get close and personal with the animal itself. Madagascar is one of our favorites, watching a film featuring hippos. It is an animation of group of zoo animals, including a hippo named Gloria. You can spend World Hippo Day watching The Adventures of Gloria and Zoo Animal Friends, or check your movie streaming service for another movie that features hippos. The population of hippos is dwindling in the wild. Many animal conservation organizations are working around the clock to prevent the animal species from going on extinct. But they need your support to succeed. One way you can help is making donations. Every dollar or rupee may save one hippo. Instead of swimming, hippos walk or run along the riverbed. Hippos don't really swim, but even in water also. They imitate swimming like they walk. So hippos have a natural sunscreen. When sunbathing, the hippo secretes an oily reddish orange slime that protects their skin from ultraviolet rays and harmful bacteria. Hippos are related to whales. Hippos and whales share the same aquatic ancestors that lived around 54 million years ago. The hippo's front teeth are tusks, they are used to defend themselves against threats. Despite their enormous size, hippos can run at a speed of 19 to 30 miles per hour, and they can run faster than Usain Bolt, the fastest runner in the world. So it encourages. This day, World Hippo Day, encourages people to take action against the hippo extinction. Hippos are currently identified as vulnerable species, with about 1,15,000 to 1,30,000 remaining in the wild. Their declining population is attributed to poaching, loss of access to fresh water, mechanized farming, and urbanization. World Hippo Day brings people's attention to the threats that hippos face and encourages them to take action, either by educating other people, running a conservation effort, or donating to animal conservation organizations. Hippos are essential to the ecosystem as hippos during the hippo's dung or solid waste provides rivers, lakes, the necessary nutrients for the life in the ecosystem to strive. If hippos go extinct, there will be a drastic reduction in certain fish species and algae populations, eventually leading to food shortages in African water bodies, such as Lake Victoria. Hippos are only mammal that lives both on land and water. It serves as a bridge between both worlds, taking nutrients from land and dumping them in water bodies. They have sensitive skin, yet are one of the most aggressive mammals. Despite their enormous size, they can still run faster than Olympic sprinter. All these and more make the hippo a fascinating animal. Today is also commemorated as World Pangolin Day, which is observed annually on the third Saturday in February, that makes on February 15th this year. The day aims to celebrate pangolins, raise awareness, and recommit international NGOs to fight against the global capturing of pangolins in Asia and Africa. An estimated 1 million of these wonderful animals have been and continue to be harvested from the wild in African and Asian countries to meet the high demands for their scale, skin, blood, and even fetuses that are believed to have several different uses, both in fashion and traditional medicine and cooking. So each year, World Pangolin Day is observed annually to raise awareness and recommit international organizations to the fight against global harvesting of pangolins, the only truly scaly mammal in the world. This day is an opportunity for pangolin enthusiasts and wider human community to join hands in raising awareness about the plight of these unique mammals. Pangolin numbers are rapidly declining in Asia and Africa. Pangolins are a highly prized commodity, often illegally trapped, trafficked, and killed for its scale by organized crime networks on a large scale to serve the need of traditional medicine market in Asia, where pangolin scales are unfortunately believed to be cure of all sorts of, and pangolin flesh is considered a delicacy. Man has become so notorious criminal, notorious species on the planet that whatever human beings, there is no discrimination between man or women, but human beings as such have become so notorious species that they are not leaving anything on this planet. They are eating everything, creeping, swimming, flying, walking, everything. They see any species, they are eating, consuming like predators. Soon, I think man is going to be eaten by all the other predators to control the population of human beings, as it happened with many species that have become extinct when they are overpopulated on the planet. The nature has its own control mechanisms to control. Even human beings also need to be controlled as they are already overpopulated on this planet. And it is destroying the planet. So in Vietnam and central and southern parts of West Asia, pangolins are offered at restaurants catering to wealthy clients who consider their meat rare and a statement of status. When frightened, a pangolin will curl up into a tight ball to protect its tender underside, making it a prime target for illegal poachers. From 2016 to 2019, an estimated 206.4 tons of pangolin scales or an equivalent amount of 360,000 pangolins were intercepted and confiscated from 52 seizures, according to a report by the Wildlife Justice Commission, an international foundation set up in the Netherlands with the mission to disrupt and help dismantle organized transnational criminal wildlife trading networks. In April 2013, 22,046 pounds of pangolin meat are seized from a Chinese vessel in the Philippines. In 2013, in November, the Zoological Society includes pangolins on London's list of evolutionary distinct and endangered mammals. In 2010, Vietnam is outed as the main demand destination for pangolins. In 2008, Vietnam authorities says the largest volumes of pangolin scales ever in 2019. In Yorubic medicine of Yoruba tribe in West African country of Nigeria, traditional medicine prescribers use pangolin bones for treating strokes, back pain, rheumatism. It is also sometimes used to treat mental illness. Pangolins play a critical role in their ecosystems by providing the earth with natural pest control. A single pangolin eats as much as 70 million insects per year, which is important to keep soils aerated, tender, and fertile. The pangolin and an armadillo are both mammals and eat ants. The pangolin is smaller than armadillo and both have an outer protective shell. The armadillo comes from Central and South America and the United States, while the pangolin hails from subtropical Africa and Southeast Asia. Pangolins are the only scaly mammal on Earth with scales, which is why they are in demand for their perceived usefulness in fashion or for curing certain illness. Pangolins play a very important role in the ecosystems by feeding on the insects necessary to keep soils aerated and fertile. An estimated 1 million pangolins have taken from the wild illegally in the past decade. All 8 species have been overharvested and are critically endangered. Their scales and claws are made of keratin. Pangolins are endangered animals. An estimated 1 million plus pangolins have been taken from wild illegally, prompting their inclusion into Zoological Society of London list. So pangolins provide the earth with natural pest control. It is said a single pangolin eats as much as 70 million insects per year, which is important to keep soils aerated, tender, and fertile. Many more people need enlightenment on the effect and risk of purchasing pangolins to eat or use as cure for illness. One thing designating a day to observe, to talk and renew our commitment to the fight against pangolin harvesting is that it shines more light on the cause. It makes people want to learn that this is shy and wonderful animal and its plight. There is also commemorated as International Angelman Day. International Angelman Day, IAD, is observed on February 15 to create awareness about Angelman syndrome, a neurogenetic disorder affecting chromosome 15 that causes intellectual and developmental disease. Angelman syndrome is a rare disorder occurring in 1 out of 15,000 babies. It affects males and females equally. The name originated with English pediatrician Harry Angelman, who initiated referred to the condition of the three patients as puppet children. Today, over 4,90,000 people live with Angelman's syndrome worldwide. You can show your support by checking out community resources and wearing blue angel wings or ribbons. So, Harry Angelman first discovered the neurogenetic disorder Angelman syndrome at Barrington General Hospital in 1956. Although the condition had no name at this time, the symptoms in each person were similar. Motor disorders, intellectual delay, happy demeanor, and lack of speech. Angelman visited the Castelvecchio Museum in Verona during a trip to Italy and discovered a painting by Giovanni Francisco Caro called A Boy with a Puppet. As he looked at the artistic impression, images of his patients came to mind, which led him to write an article about their condition entitled Puppet Children. There was a little data on the condition until 1982. Dr. Charles Williams and Dr. Femi Firias of Department of Pediatrics of the University of Florida College of Medicine, Dennis Willis successfully submitted a paper of the American Journal of Medical Genetics describing 6 patients and comparing their results to previous reports. The report included symptoms similar to those described by Angelman, and including several developmental delay, a puppet-like gait, craniofacial abnormalities, and frequent laughter. Thus, Williams and Fraser proposed the disorder be named Angelman syndrome. Williams founded the Angelman Research Group, ARG, to facilitate and support research and education concerning Angelman syndrome. In 1986, by 1990, the ARG had formed the Angelman Syndrome Foundation. 2 parents with children suffering from Angelman syndrome came up with the idea for International Angelman Day. National Angelman Syndrome organizations worldwide accepted this idea, and the unanimous date of February 15th was agreed. The first commemoration of this day was in 2013. There are non-profit advocacy groups such as the Angelman Syndrome Foundation or the Foundation for Angelman Syndrome. There are also therapeutics that offer support to patient families. So the Angelman Syndrome symbol is blue ribbon or a blue set of wings. Children born with Angelman syndrome do not exhibit symptoms until 6 to 12 months, and a wide range of clinical therapies, including medical treatment for seizures and physical communication and behavioral therapies, are offered to help patients to achieve maximum development, as there is no treatment. So symptom-based treatment is available. So the life expectancy for individuals with Angelman syndrome appears to be nearly normal. Angelman syndrome both affects male and female equally. Genomic imprinting is a key phenomenon associated with Angelman syndrome. Today is also commemorated as International Childhood Cancer Day on February 15th. Every year all over the world, the day raises awareness of childhood cancer and honors all the children and families experiencing the effects of the disease. It acknowledges their pain and difficulties, giving them space to process and grieve. Despite the advances in the medicine and medical technology, cancer remains the leading cause of death by disease for children past infancy, not only in childhood cancer traumatic, but it also requires specialized treatment and care. Pediatric oncology is an important field in medicine that works with cancer in children and devises strategies for treatment, pain management, and home. Childhood Cancer International, a network of parent organizations that spans continents, instituted International Child Cancer Day to ensure that children with cancer get the best possible care. The day is set aside to raise awareness about childhood cancers, the treatments available for these diseases. Every year, more than 44 lakh children, teenagers, and young adults under the age of 20 are diagnosed with cancer. While cancer is one of the leading causes of death from diseases among children, the actual number of children who die because of cancer has reduced over the years. Most cancers have effective treatments and management methods that have increased the survival rate significantly. Childhood cancers require specialized treatment plans developed by pediatric oncologists, and this day helps to publicize the existence of such treatments. International Childhood Cancer Day was also instituted to improve treatment rates and reduce the pain and suffering caused by cancer among childhood children around the globe. While the chances of full recovery for children with cancer can reach 80% in countries that have high GDP, in the middle and lower income countries, the chances can slip down to 20%. The ICCD focuses on the importance of equitable access to treatment for cancer among children who are suffering or the survivors of cancer. It works to ensure that all over the world children have access to the best possible care and can overcome the difficulties cancer poses to them and their quality of life. This initiative aims to make childhood cancer a priority in the world. It works in line with the World Health Organization's global initiative on childhood cancer towards a 60% survival rate with children with cancer. 99% of cancers are found in adults, and only 1 in 285 children actually develops cancer. Although cancer develops when cells change and start growing out of control, there is no known cause for this, especially in childhood cancers. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia and acute myeloid leukemia are two of the most common types of cancer diagnosed among children under 25, and leukemia accounts for 29% of childhood cancer. The Global Initiative on Childhood Cancer also focuses on developing permanent cures for childhood cancer. 1.16 trillion USD is the estimate of the total annual cost of cancer and its treatment as of 2010. Cancer is a difficult disease to live with. We respect the children who are enduring pain and want to express our sympathy for them. We want to make sure that people who need information about the treatments receive them. We also want to spread hope and possibility of full recovery so kids can keep fighting. The best way to address childhood cancer is to raise awareness and raise funds for research and make sure the children with cancer have access to treatment. We want to contribute and do our bit towards fighting cancer. Today is also commemorated as Liberation Day in Afghanistan, celebrated on February 15th every year to commemorate the final departure of the Soviet army from the country on the same date in 1989. The Soviet-Afghan War was fought for nearly 10 years and close to 2 million Afghan civilians were killed. The Soviet-Afghan War was fought for nearly 10 years. The Soviet-Afghan War was a Cold War era proxy war fought between the Soviet Army and the Mujahideen, backed by the US, the UK, China, Iran, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia. By the end of the war in 1989, Afghanistan had lost close to 11.5% of its population, plus 7 million Afghans had become either internally displaced persons or refugees in countries such as Pakistan. Today is also commemorated as Love Reset Day, which is the day after Valentine's Day. The day of love can be rude awakening when they realize that traditional romance is not as fulfilling as it seems, leading to a journey of self-discovery and self-love. The Love Reset Day started as a 30-day challenge that gives people the opportunity to equate the quality of their relationships and identify areas that require nurturing for sustainable and long-lasting relationships. It is a day that calls for deep introspection with the aim of making relationships fulfilling. Today is also commemorated as Louis Ngai Ni, which is celebrated on February 15th in the northeastern state of Manipur in India. The rural festival is intended to bring together the many tribes of Naga people in the state. Even though Louis Nagai Ni is an important festival in the state of Manipur, those living outside of it are very unlikely to celebrate it. On this day, schools, offices, and business many remained shut in Manipur in the mid 1980s. Lulgai Ni became an iconic festival in Naga tribes and it has been a state holiday in Manipur since 1990. Happy Lulgai Ni to those who celebrate. It is an agrarian festival. This seed sowing festival is celebrated by the Naga tribes of Manipur. The Naga people live in the northeastern parts of India and northwestern Myanmar and have a significant population in Manipur. So Luingai Ni is an occasion for the Naga tribes in Manipur to come together and celebrate their rich cultural heritage and strengthen Naga solidarity. Nagas of Manipur include Map, Tangkul, Mayon, Anal, Tario, Chote, Koirang, Tangal, Puimel, Monsang, Langkang, Chiru, Karam, Maram, Pomai, Zim, Liang Mai, Rong Mai, and Mary. Maybe because they have a different kind of pronunciation, there might be mistake or an error in pronunciation. So, but what does the word Louis Gai Ni mean actually? It's a name of a festival is actually made up of three native words. The name is a reflection of diverse heritage and it is made up of three words in three different Naga languages. Lui, Lui, is a shortened version of Lura Fanit, which means seed sowing festival in the Tangkul language, while Gang, Ngai, is a Rongmei word for festival. Lastly, Ni, also means seed sowing festival in the Mao language. So this festival is celebrated by asking the god of crops to bless the sown seeds and ensure their good health. The festival is celebrated in hopes of a fruitful harvest. Various cultural activities are part of New Gaini festival. People celebrate the day by wearing traditional clothes, beating drums, and dancing to folk songs. The day is filled with merriment. New Gaini is celebrated in all the Naga inhabited areas in Manipur, and the main festivity is hosted alternatively between the main Naga district headquarters in the state. The traditions of the festival are rooted in age-old customs and practiced by almost every Naga person. This is also a wonderful time to visit the state of Manipur. Today is also commemorated as Day of Asha Kalia in Kosovo, celebrated annually to appreciate the importance of Ashkali community in Kosovo. Kosovo is a nation that has people hailing from many races and cultures. The Ashkali people were viewed were viewed as second-class citizens. They suffered discrimination during the early days. Their flag day is now considered a public holiday in Kosovo. The day is dedicated to ending discrimination against the community and prompting education among the Ashkali children. Today is also commemorated as Hanoi Squidward Day in US. Those who watch the famous show regularly are familiar with Squidward, the unsatisfied co-worker of SpongeBob, and how annoyed he is with the antics of his all too cheerful co-worker. Annoyed Squidward Day is actually a reference to one of the episodes in Squidward becomes exasperated by SpongeBob and declares it to be an annoyed Squidward Day. Today is also commemorated as Real Bread Week from February 15th to 23rd in US. It takes place from second last Saturday to the last Sunday in February every year since 2010. This annual international celebration of real bread and celebrates additive-free breads and people who make them. The week aims to encourage a future where everyone has access to good, preservative-free real bread by either making it themselves or buying it from local independent bakeries or supporting the charity. Today is also commemorated as this week as National FFA Week in US from February 15 to 22nd. This was initiated by National Future Farmers of America organization, a youth leadership development organization with more than 760,000 student members in 8,700 local FFA chapters in all 50 states and Puerto Rico, with the mission to prepare future generations for the challenges of feeding the growing population of the United States. The National FFA Week was specifically initiated to fall on the George Washington's birth week to highlight his legacy as a leader and a foremost farmer. So National FFA Week was initiated by the National Future Farmers of America organization, a youth leadership organization as one of the largest in the US to make a positive difference in the lives of young people by developing their potential for leadership, personal growth, and career success through agriculture education. First founded by a group of young farmers in 1928, the FFA mission during National FFA Week is to prepare future generations for the challenges of feeding the growing population of the United States by teaching members various topics relating to agriculture technology, science, and business. Agribusiness, agri-mechanics, agri-sales, dairy cattle evaluation, and agronomy, food science and technology, and dairy food, etc. This day was observed on a single day in 1948 to recognize George Washington's example and legacy as a leader and farmer. The National FFA Board of Directors initiated a week-long tradition. Today is also commemorated as Turn Your Ideas into Reality National Entrepreneurship Week from February to 22nd in US. It is congressionally chartered initiative centered on celebrating America's entrepreneurship ecosystem, formed in 2006 and relaunched in 2017. This initiative uplifts core values of diversity, inclusion, equity, education, and collaboration needed for the growth of entrepreneurs. If you are looking for funding to pursue business studies, head to check various options. So entrepreneurs have been in existence for as long as people have been allowed to own their business. However, the term did not appear until 1723. There are mainly 31 million small businesses across the United States, and majority of the country's economy is made up of entrepreneurs and small business. Despite this, over 50% of this business fall within the first year. Today is also commemorated as Make Mine Chocolate. In US, it is a campaign. The Columbus House Rabbit Society created the Make Mine Chocolate campaign to raise awareness about the alarming rate of rabbits acquired and disposed of casually during the Easter holiday season. These rabbits end up at shelters and get euthanized or abandoned in the wild at the mercy of predators. The campaign seeks to educate the public against such behaviors and unique needs of these fragile rabbits. They encourage parents to fight the impulse to buy a live rabbit as an Easter gift and rather opt for plush chocolate or literary rabbits. You can also show your support during the Make Mine Chocolate campaign by wearing a ceramic bunny pin. Domesticated rabbits cannot survive on their own. They make So the Make Mine Chocolate campaign helps rabbit prevent cruel fate of death abandoned rabbits face Easter celebrations. Today is also commemorated as Total Defense Day in Singapore, observed annually on February 15th, on the day that Singapore surrendered to Japan in 1942 during the World War II. Total defense stands for Singapore's national defense concept, emphasizing that every aspect of society contributes to the defense of a nation. Total Defense Day is observed as a reminder of what could happen if everyone failed to play their role in upholding the total defense strategy. In 1965, Singapore broke away from Malaysia and became its own independent state. The following year, in 1967, the mandatory enlistment of all able-bodied males 16 years and above was implemented. By 1983, a 5-point total defense strategy was underway. The leadership recognized the need to make civilians a part of creation and awareness generation of the strategy and founded the Civilian-led Advisory Council on Community Relations in Defense Accord. On January 22, 1984, total defense was officially declared to be Singapore's defense strategy. It consisted of 5 elements: military, civil, economic, social, and psychological. Much later in 2019, digital was added as the 6th element. In fact, there is even talk of adding climate as 7th element, taking into consideration Singapore's vulnerability to climate change. So total defense has gotten the nation through some dire circumstances, even pulling them through COVID-19 pandemic efficiently. The first National Total Defense Day was observed on February 15, 1998. It was marked by the Singapore Civil Defense Force sounding the important message signal through the island-wide public warning system, sirens, and local radio stations. For a minute, it has been observed on the date every year since it's serving as a reminder to be stronger together. Today is also commemorated as Sovereignty Day of Serbia, observed on February 15th every year, also referred to as Statehood Day. It is a 2-day-long festival considered National Day in Serbia. Sovereignty Day of Serbia marks the first Serbian uprising in 1805. Alongside the first Serbian constitution in 1835, if the day falls on weekend, a weekday is usually given its stead, and the day was observed for the very first time in 2001. On this day, citizens believe that the weather may indicate the harshness of the final days of winter. Today is also commemorated as Singles Awareness Day in US. If you are single and totally despise Valentine's Day in all of its commercial glory, this is a perfect day for you. Originally, Valentine's Day became a sad single awareness day for people without significant others. So they decided to revolt and take that acronym back. They choose empowerment and self-love instead of indulging in a self-loathing story. In the words of pop sensation Lizzo, true love finally happens when you are by yourself. So Singles Awareness Day is now celebrated by loving yourself. Remember, the Maini Day is commemorated on February 15th in United States in the remembrance of American battleship USS Marin, which unexpectedly sank in Cuba, killing 266 crew members. On February 15, 1898, there was a mysterious explosion followed by the sinking of the ship. This led to political turmoil, a naval blockade, and ultimately a declaration of war. Today is also commemorated as Parinirvana Day in US, celebrated annually on February 15 to commemorate the death of Buddha, which he attained complete nirvana or parinirvana. Buddhism has been around for 2,600 years and more. Buddhism is a religion based on teachings of Gautama Buddha, a Hindu who lived between 5th and 4th centuries BC. Parinirvana Day, marking the physical death of Buddha, is celebrated in some countries in Eastern Asia on February 8th and Bhutan on 15th day of 4th month of the Bhutanese calendar. According to Buddhism, to attain parinirvana, one must understand the Four Noble Truths. The history of Parinirvana Day begins with the birth of Siddhartha Gautama. The Buddha was born in 5th century BC in Lumbini, present day of Nepal, according to the Buddhism writings. He was born to King Suddhodana and Queen Maya, but many scholars argue that he was born in Shakya community, which was ruled by a republic-like council, and he must be free from one of the ruling families. This is based on different, documentary evidences available. Being moved by the suffering of life and death and its endless repetition due to rebirth, Gautama renounced his little title and inheritance. He embarked on a journey to find liberation from suffering. He embarked on a journey to find liberation from suffering. Nirvana. Gautama took up the shamanastic life and went to study under the teachers of meditation. The first was Aradhana Kamala, also known as Alara Kamala, under which attained nothingness, but that did not bring an end to his suffering. The second teacher was Udraka Ramaputra, under which he attained a state of neither perception nor non-perception, but that also did not help him solve the problem of suffering. Gautama decided to put himself under the hardest ascetic disciplines, including strict fasting and breath control. That also didn't address the problem of suffering. He forwent asceticism and turned to meditative practice of dhyana. According to legend, he went to Bodh Gaya, where he sat beneath the Bodhi tree and vowed to remain in the state of meditation until he understood the meaning of living without suffering. In this deep meditative state, Gautama attained awakening and became the Buddha, the enlightened. Upon becoming the Buddha, Gautama began teaching his doctrine, Dharma, initiated monks into Sangha order, and trained nuns. He allowed his disciples to spread his teaching across India, using the local language or dialects as a communication medium. So, upon becoming the Buddha, Gautama began teaching his doctrine. Dharma initiated monks into his Sangha order and trained nuns. He allowed his disciples to spread his teaching across India. Using the local language or dialects as a communication medium. Gautama died at the age of 18 in Kushinagar, India, attaining the final nirvana, parinirvana. Actually, this is not known as death, but attaining nirvana or parinirvana, his death has been celebrated every year since then, as it is a moksha, salvation. Today is also commemorated as National Wisconsin Day. In US, celebrates the state of Wisconsin and its hardworking people. Wisconsin was in the 30th state to be accepted into the Union of US with cheeses, beers, copper, and so much more. Wisconsin is a state that keeps on giving. We are here to celebrate. Towards the end of Ice Age, Paleo-Indians came to Wisconsin. It was inhabited by large animals such as mammoths, mastodons, and giant beavers, which the Paleo-Indians hunted. Eventually, these animals neared extinction and the Paleo-Indians moved to smaller animals such as deer and bison. By early woodland periods, plants became important in diet, small-scale agriculture, and pottery emerged in Wisconsin. Jean Violet, the first known European inhabitant, arrived in Wisconsin in the French period and paved the way for innumerable other Europeans to follow. The British eventually gained full control of Wisconsin in 1763. The US acquired Wisconsin in the Treaty of Paris in 1780. However, it didn't exercise proper control over the state until the War of 1812. Even following the control, several wars were fought in and for Wisconsin. It has made part of different territories before it became its own Wisconsin territory in 1836. Finally, on May 29, 1848, Wisconsin was officially signed into the Union of the US, becoming the 30th state to join. Since then, it has been ethnically heterogeneous, a valuable source, and an important player in modernizing government. Today is also commemorated as National Lemon Butterscotch Day in US, which celebrates the creamy sweetness of butterscotch. Butterscotch started its journey from a small town in Yorkshire before blowing all over the world. It evolved from just being candy to becoming an essential topping on all desserts and sweets. Butterscotch is mainly made from brown sugar and butter. Other ingredients that are sometimes used in addition to these primary ingredients are corn soup, cream, vanilla, and salt. The brown sugar is boiled at 1150 degrees Celsius and then mixed with other ingredients. So scotch means to cut or score, as butterscotch needs to be cut into pieces of scotch before hardening. Today is also commemorated as National Gumdrop Day in US. Americans love their candy, and luckily several days have been set aside to celebrate specific candies like National Gumdrop Day. Gumdrops are unique in that they are not only fun to eat, but they also make great decorations. People have crafted with gumdrops for years and became because they come in so many shapes, sizes, and colors. Gumdrops guarantee festive decor. Gumdrops are one of the America's most beloved sweets. It's chewy, gelatin candy, most flavored with fruit or spices. Debates abound as the history of gumdrops. Some credit Percy Truesdale as the inventor of gumdrops in 1804. The term gumdrop was first seen in Illinois newspaper mentioning a local candy shop owner, George Julier, in 1850s. Today is also commemorated as National Flag of Canada Day in Canada. Every year on February 15th, this day marks the inauguration of the present flag of Canada with the red maple leaf. The flag signifies the common values that unite all citizens of Canada: equality, diversity, and inclusion. You might see Canadian flag waving in glory from building tops and people distributing miniature flags on the streets. Some people prefer wearing pins in the design of the flag to honor the occasion. In many schools, special lessons are delivered on the history of flag and its significance. Today is also commemorated as National Black Girl Magic Day in US, which is observed on February 15th annually in the US. The day celebrates the beauty, power, and resilience of Black women. The day also raises awareness of the issues faced by Black women, especially those that are discriminatory or racist. Activists took at corporate, medical, cultural, and social aspects of America and how they affect Black women. National Black Girl Magic Day hopes to bring change by example and create a future where every Black girl and woman gets equal representation to their white counterparts. So, with this, we shall end today's commemoration. So, see you all tomorrow at the same time. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form that has been shared in the form of votes. So, see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.